Hello, everybody. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Welcome back. For those who don't know me, I'm Ernest Rossi, a senior certified hypnotherapist specialized in Ericksonian hypnosis and the psychobiology of mind-body healing. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the modern Ericksonian hypnosis, which is a step up from Ericksonian hypnosis, which I talked about in a previous video, which you can go and see to find out more about it. Okay, that's much better. So I continue, sorry. So modern Ericksonian hypnosis is all about Ericksonian hypnosis, plus it includes NLP techniques, neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and energy techniques, which I will show you in the next slide. In French, we call it nouvelle hypnose, because it's a modern way of using Ericksonian hypnosis. It is solution-oriented, just as is Milton Erickson's approach to hypnosis. It takes into account the values and belief systems of a person, the motivation, interests, and entity. It's respectful of the person's unique way of dealing with a problem. And therefore, with that ethical approach, people get really effective results. Okay, so here we see when we talk about energy hypnosis, that's what I mean. This was a technique that Ernest Rossi developed using both hands. And it consists, in fact, you see, as you can see, the lady on the left, she's holding her hands face to face, facing each other. And symbolically, you put in one hand, normally we use the right hand, the objective, the goal you want to reach, and in the left hand you put all the work, all the exploration, all the positive things that your subconscious is going to do during a certain time. And you set a time, and it can be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we get into a state of self-hypnosis, which is very easily to reach in the way I teach it. This was during the course of self-hypnosis techniques I frequently teach to people. And in fact, you see on the right picture, the guy has got his hands, left hand is closed down because his subconscious mind is active, is being active, whereas his right hand is still standing straight, the fingers are still upright, more or less. And in the next picture, you're going to see these people fell into a very deep state of self-hypnosis. So they are in the very, very important phase of ultradium healing phase that Ernest Rossi called the healing ultradium rhythm cycle of healing, which is an important phase in hypnosis, which occurs every 90 to 120 minutes. That's a spontaneous phase in which we all go, but we are not aware of it. And when in hypnosis, we take advantage of this phase, which is very important. The hypnotherapist doesn't say anything during this phase because it's a very deep phase and state of hypnosis in which healing can occur physiologically, psychologically, and all the systems involved, the complex system involved in healing. So, in the method, the process of psychobiology of mind-body healing, Ernest Rossi wrote a book about that. And I used that self-hypnosis technique to cure a chronic eczema, and it worked. It took time, but I did it every day, and it did work. I don't have anything left of that chronic eczema. In this method, Rossi based all his knowledge of Ernest Rossi, whom he considered as his healing mentor. He was his student and then became his close collaborator during his past 8 years of living. And he talks about, in this psychobiology of mind-body healing, there's a lot of things happening, occurring. We take into account, when we do hypnotherapy with that method, we take into account the ultradian rhythm. We consider the symptom as a friend, not as an enemy. And we establish a dialogue between the hippocampus and the cortex, which is naturally during sleep. That's what happens every time we sleep. The hippocampus has a dialogue, communicate with the cortex, with the cognitive mind, and transfer all the new data into the cognitive mind. And we also establish a dialogue between the mind, the brain, and the genes. So with this method, we can actually change the destiny of our genes. And Ernest Rossi uses a 4-stage creative process. He also uses a metaphorical tree, which he called the Rossi's healing tree and rehabilitation. And it's a very, very amazing way to get results, to help people get better, people with chronic diseases, with chronic pain, with cancer, and so on. So to talk about Ernest Rossi, unfortunately, he left us in 2019. Ernest Rossi is a very, very generous man. He was very generous. He gave a lot of materials free of charge. He gave me some material, he sent me some very interesting documentation, and gave me the authorization to use it during my training courses and during my conferences. And he was a student, as I said, of Milton Erickson, and then became his close collaborator. And after the death of Milton Erickson, which was, let me check, in 1980, Milton Erickson died. Well, the people at the Palo Alto School, as well as Erickson's students, including Ernest Rossi, continued his work and generated a significant renewal within the field of psychosomatics. Rossi did significant work in this field thanks to the progress and studies in neurobiology research, which is research on neurotransmitters linking the body and the mind. And more recently, psychoneuroimmunology has brought the scientific foundations to this new approach, which was essentially empirical until then. Rossi used to say, the mind and body represent two aspects of one soul and same system of information, and that is life. So, without getting into too much scientific detail, the main element of this new progress is information and its processing. Psychology, biology, physics, genetics, and any other human approach have the same common denominator, and that is information. To Ernest Rossi, Milton Erickson was a healing mentor, and he used to tell him stories about his efforts at self-rehabilitation from his lifetime of coping with polio, which Ernest Rossi remembered vividly when he was recovering from a stroke much later on in life. Life, Milton Erickson would explain, actually is a continuous process of rehabilitation. Every day and every moment that we consciously choose to work cheerfully and creatively with our handicap, whatever it might be, rather than complain, literally gives us a leg up. Getting in and out of an automobile, he explained, can be utilized as another opportunity to gain yet another increment of muscle coordination and strength. This view was the essence of what he called his naturalistic or utilization approach, which Ernest Rossi now called the symptom path to enlightenment, whereby the process of actively coping with our symptoms and problems guides us and facilitates physical healing as well as further psychological development. The symptom or problem is seen as a friend rather than an enemy. This is absolutely essential to give the possibilities of healing to a chronic disease patient. The patient's attitude to their symptoms and to themselves is extremely important during this form of regenerating hypnosis. Your symptom is a signal that creative change is necessary in your life. Your symptom or problem is actually a friend to you, would say Ernest Rossi. And it actually works, and I've helped many people with chronic disease, chronic pain, psychosomatic illnesses, cancer, to get better, to heal even in some cases of cancer. So if you get the chance to read, I won't talk about this, it's too scientific, but if you can get the chance to buy the book of Ernest Rossi, The Psychobiology of Mind-Body Healing, it's a mind of gold and very, very useful for you if you're also already trained as a hypnotherapist. But to be able to apply all the techniques of Ernest Rossi, you will need to be trained in Ericksonian hypnosis to start with. So if you're interested, I also train in Ericksonian hypnotherapist and the psychobiology of mind-body healing. If you're interested in having a hypnosis session with me, don't hesitate. I have put all the links underneath in the description box for you to be able to order a hypnotherapy session online and also to visit my website, which is a bilingual website, and you will find all the plethora of information, articles, videos on the subject. Right? Thank you very much for being with me. I'll stop sharing my screen. And I wish you a very good day. And I'll see you soon in another video. Bye-bye for now.